Hello. Gonna be building a game with Python, roguelike stuff. So, just seeing if my buddy sees my message. Nah, he doesn't. He might be sleeping. That's okay. Alright, let's see what tasks I have to do. Okay, I think the stream's up and running, so I'll say whatever I said last time. Yeah, so I'm building a roguelike game with Python, and right now on my tasks, for my task I have to drop a dead body when the player dies, so let's try that out. Dropping a dead body isn't that bad. So. Okay, so what we can say, if we die, then we remove ourselves. So we can say player equals self. So we can say that player equals player dot drop body. And then what we can just do instead, we can do, because I think we have a reference to the game, obviously. Do we have our game utils? Yes, we do. Remove game object from game. Game equals, then game object. Just repeat the player, and then we can just add the game object to game. And this would be the dead player in its place. Argument follows keyword argument. Okay. Positional follows keyword. And I am already dead. If the self combat or action that not set. Okay, so we definitely know for this set of stuff. Just do that. Okay, perfect. It's always important to stay hydrated. Okay, now we can get to the fun stuff. So.
Okay. I'm not a concept, Joel. I'm always looking for my own peace of mind. I'm not perfect.
So we can just have items, and what items will do. Items will basically be kind of just a catch-all sort of thing in regards to just, you know, potions, swords, whatever, right? And then we can just add more and more properties and stuff like, okay, is this for the combat, or, you know, stuff like that. So It's more of a general thing, but where's my phone? There's my phone. I'm just gonna message a buddy of mine. Oh cool, Snapchat crashed. That's good. Self name, blah blah blah. Self name equals name. Item type equals item type. Hello, if you're new to the stream, I am building a roguelike game with Python. If you want to see the gist of it right now, it's basically like this, right? You have enemies, you walk around, it's tile based, it's all ASCII characters basically. There's also some nice generation that I got down, so it's pretty nice. A couple edge cases I'm handling, but overall it's still pretty chill. I think another one can be a stackable attribute. So like, if it's stackable, that means like you can have like a quantity of it. So like, say it's a item that's ammo, right? Like if it's ammo, then it's stackable, which means that you can have more than, you know, a certain amount of it. So stackable would be a good attribute. I think that's a base item thing, more or less. And then I guess you could also have like def use item self self, recipient, maybe uses the item. And I mean that's just the general one, and then if it's a weapon item, right, then using the item would technically equip it, right? So your using item would be the same as equipping the item, more or less. So to call back on it and be like, okay, your use item is actually equipping, right? And equipping item alters your combat stats like momentarily, right? Something like that. But that seems broad enough. So I can put that down. Inventory system we don't necessarily need to have just yet because we can't even pick up any items to begin with. So next best thing to have on our game is to have chest. Alright, and a chest would really be in regards to, I would say, potentially dungeon generation. Well, it's a specialized entity. It's more or less kind of like a pickup, but not really, because it's a chest, and a chest is also technically something you can interact with, but the interaction is interesting. Chest is still something really limited to how, I don't know. We'll see. How's the best way to... I'm looking it up because I don't know. Chest. Dungeon chest. I guess for the sake of, I mean, we can do a refactor on it later, but I'm just gonna put it in mapping for now. So a chest would have a item. Yeah, it'd have all the fun characteristics since it actually inherits from entity. So we can give it all the fun characteristics where it, you know, X, Y, name, char, color, game, something like that. Copy this over. X, Y, name, char, color, combat behavior, none, game is game. Entity type is chest. Self X, Y, name, char, color. Char we can have for chest, we can have what can we have a chest for? Not very stringent on it, but could have a hashtag for a chest. So we can have, you know, open char like that, right? And close char would equal something else entirely. Chest color, that'll be fun. Let's use a color picker for that. I would say maybe like a brownish for our chest to be okay. Open char, closed char. Closed char can be like maybe, what could the closed char be? The type char would, by normal standards, will have it be the closed char. No, it's the other way around. This would be the open char. The other one would be the closed char. So by default it's closed, so game, yes, all that fun stuff. But after we get through all that fun stuff, we can say opened equals false. Opened equal opened. Then we can have a, let's say, okay. So we can say if by default entity char is open char, right? But if self opened is true, the char equals open char, else you can say empty char equals closed char. Then we can just go and take this one. Okay. Open char, closed char, color, game, opened, false. if we open the chest, oh, very important part. So by default, we can say the chest thing is, no, let's just say no. Alright, so we can say self.chest item equals chest item. Okay. So if we, and then we can do recipient, and then closing the chest has no effect on the recipient whatsoever, so we will have to not worry about that. We just can say, okay, cool, self.open equals false, self.char equals self.close char, self.open equals true, self.char equals self.open char. And then we'll have somewhere in here, you know, interact with inventory system. Then, you know, debug, show message of recipient receiving item. And then to do if item is none, the chest is empty. So that handles that. Okay. We can mess with the chances a bit. I would say maybe 30%, 40%, spiking it up to 70% for testing purposes for the chest, and then we can hit up on these code. And then for the player, obviously you can check, since the item type or entity type in this case, you know, base entity prompts, right? The entity type is chest, so it can be like, cool, it's a chest, we can do chest things to it, you know. So it definitely knows how to do that, and it shouldn't have any issue with that. So that's not bad. So chest spawning, so we'll have to extend that a bit, but that's good for a base. But I want to solidify what task we have to do. Chest base class Skelly. Okay. Display message to player what they receive, spawn some chests into the game, add interaction code for opening chests, add ability to open and close chests, via dungeon. Okay. So let's organize this. I would put this on the top. Alright. So first, the order of business. Running the game to see if that works. Splendid. Now it's time to add the ability to spawn chests into the game. So we'll do that for the dungeon system. Alright. Now we got our chest, and then I will pull up the chest thing right there. I gotta do the params. Same. Okay. Add so we're gonna add chest to room. This could be a random, well, I mean, essentially, this part stays the same, so we can just copy that over. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the stream, Ziggly. Howdy. Arla, wonderful Twitch emote, by the way. So right now I'm just setting it up where I have these items that spawn in chests that spawn on the dungeon. And the dungeon right now looks like something interesting. Non-default argument follows. Okay, fun. Non-default argument follows. Oh, fun. Fun. Alright, it looks like this, right? So right now I'm working on spawning the chest in. What button did I press? Did my please okay, there we go. I was about to say, did my computer crash? That would have been bad. Okay. So first thing, get an item in. Gonna have an item, we're gonna give it a name of like trash item. It's gonna have an item type. I'll just call that basic by default. Okay, so we have a trash item. Trash item doesn't do anything. Now we're gonna have a chest. Gonna have it at. Okay. So we're gonna have it at a random x, random y. It's gonna have that name, it's gonna have that thing, it's gonna have that color, it's gonna have a game of set that game, it's gonna have a chest item of the item, it's gonna have a no, it's not open. Okay. That's game part. Game part should be like the last of the last. Should not really be. We'll look at the layout of those things later, but for now it should work out fine. Okay, so we have a chest. Spawn the chest into the game. Append it to the chest list. Chest is spawned. Then essentially, code for that is pretty much copy. Only difference is we're gonna do self.add chest to room. Okay. So if we go into our main script, where we handle this part, generate next form. Yeah, okay. Dungeon.add chest to room. Let's give it a chance of 0.5. I'm gonna put a note here for this guy. I can say to do can optimize and refactor. Okay. So there should be chests now, and it said that. Let's say. Okay. Let's go here. I'm gonna move that to here. Alright, you see that red thing? It's not visible at all, probably. That is our chest. So if we go here, can't interact with it just yet, but it has been spawned, so it's a good move. So I'm gonna go through here a little bit, and I'm just gonna move around. I'm gonna see how many of these chests pop up. I gave it a 50% chance, so it shouldn't necessarily be in every room, but a good portion though. So it wasn't that room, so next room it definitely will have it. Yep. Okay. Spawn some chests into the game with dummy item. Now we're gonna add interaction code. So that's pickup behavior. Now we're gonna have chest behavior. The game. Okay. In this case, the entity type will be a chest. And then we'll just say, hey, it's a chest. If self.open equals true, return. Don't do anything if chest is already opened. Okay. Okay, alright. Okay. If item is none, the chest is that's a really bad to do. Okay. So instead of doing a pickup behavior, it's gonna do an open chest. Dot open. We'll keep that just for now. It's redundant, but whatever. Open chest, and self. Self is referring to the player itself, right? Then we can say self blah blah, and cool. So now it should open. A simple thing. All right. Alright, so no chest so far. How many hours do you think you've put into this project so far? I'm not too sure. I'm sure that let me check the commit log. That's not the commit log. Let me check on GitHub. I definitely, I mean, I haven't live streamed every single session I've been doing it from, but let's see. So I've had 75 commits. Each commit, let's see. I don't know, I would have to say at least like maybe like 72 hours, maybe 60 hours, I'm not entirely sure. So like at least, I think at least 30. At least 30. But I'm not entirely sure because I don't keep track of that all that much. But very good question though. Wassermelone? Yeah. Wassermelone. Okay. But I have 75 commits in, and I mean some commits are small, other commits are large. Okay. So now we can open the chest, and if we check here, taking turn. Okay. Nice, interesting to get on how long something this takes to get to this point. Here's another thing. Keep in mind. So there's the project itself, right? Say you've worked on like 20 different projects that are very similar, like they're all games, right? Starting this project would take fundamentally a lot less time than say if it was your very first game to build, right? So, I mean, I've done a lot of Python in the past, so some of the stuff is like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And, you know, for a beginner, it might take them in like an hour, but for me, it might take me, you know, 5 minutes or so. It's like, like the more, because you just encounter more like of the same, like the situations, like at some point, some of them just like become, you get a more and more larger tool set over times. So that's kind of one portion of it. Basically. Though I will say with this library in particular, I picked up the library for the graphics specifically for this project. So display message to player what item they received. Okay, we can put that here. So if item is none, so if self dot chest item equals none, you can say no item in chest. Yeah, I mean, it's also, it's really counterintuitive, but you kind of actually get better at understanding libraries as you learn more libraries. So it's kind of like, obviously there's a logistical thing to it, like because it's more like you get used to. Thanks. I don't think it's about smarter, I think it's just about like putting a shit ton of, sorry for my cursing, but putting a lot of time towards it. You know? Like it's also like about kind of being obsessive to things sometimes. Like I could just put so much time into this, but like say you know, since I'm still in high school, say I have to like write an English essay, I would not want to put any time into that, you know. So it's a contextual thing, but like person could be a genius in one thing but completely like subpar in another subject, basically. So it oscillates, let's put it that way. Do you mind going over your ECS? What's your what do you mean ECS? ECS? Could you elaborate on what you mean by ECS? Entity component system. Sure. Let me print this one print statement out and then I'll go over it a bit. It's interesting, I'll put it that way. Okay, I'm gonna test this and then I'll go over that, what you asked for. Okay. Player received trash item. Cool. Okay. So. Essentially, the way it works. So, alright. So the way it works is that we have the base thing is game objects, right? So a game object can have a X and Y position, a name, a character, a color, a reference to the game, and then a type, right? So type is just like what type of game object. This allows us to further differentiate and basically say, okay, we can have a game object that's of type whatever, and that means it could be like a wall game object, or it could be an entity game object, something like that. So that just the type thing is kind of a wild card differentiator, basically, because since essentially Python is not type based, no, Python is not static type. So unless you do some sort of like type function, I think, right, you're gonna have no idea how to do that. Rather than call type function here and there, like everywhere, I'd rather just do this because that's just kind of like the easy way of doing it. Duck typing? Is it duck typing? Sure. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Right. So you have, where's my music? Okay. So essentially what goes on is that you have this type, right? So you have this base game object. Another main point is a game object is a object in the game that has a position, a name just for it to, as a label to it, a character to represent what it's going to be rendered as on screen, and a color associated with it. And then there's two special functions that a game object has. It has a move function, which allows it to move any dx and dy, which means like if you give it a dx and dy of 1, 1, then it's going to move to the side 1 and then up 1, or down 1 to the right 1. Depends on how the coordinate position system is. I think 0, 0 is the top left, and then going down is positive and going right is positive, right? Anticipate move is a just general function that basically does the same thing as move, but it simulates a move and returns a tuple, 2-point tuple, 2-value tuple of what the anticipated x and y position would be if you were to perform that move, right? Anticipating moves is very important for things that have some sort of behavior where they would prefer to anticipate what the next move would be before actually doing that move, because there's a potential case where they can't move in that area, but they need to be able to anticipate what the next position is in order to check if that is a place where they can move. So such as if they if there's another entity in the next tile or something, right, they have to anticipate what the next move would be first, say, okay, at that position, is there an entity or a game object or whatever there? Then if there isn't, then we can just do the regular move function, right? And then, so this is the base one. This is the base stuff, right? For the game object, for everything in regards to that, we just have a renderer that handles all the specific rendering functions due to the game object. Since entities and everything below that are also game objects, you can just use these render game object functions, right? So, and then after we get this handled, we have the entity itself, which inherits from, which is a subclass of game object, but it has a x and y, so it has a position, name, character, color, so on and so forth. Main difference is now it has an entity type, and and you override the game object type and you say, okay, it's just an entity. The type, it's a game object of type entity, right? With the addition of an entity type and combat behavior. Combat behavior is a component of entity that allows entities to have health, to have durability, to fight with one another. It basically allows entities to be a little bit more sentient than a regular game object. And basically with this, you have the components of the combat, which basically allow you to attack another entity that has a combat behavior, and to receive a hit from another entity that has a combat behavior, or receive hits from other things. It doesn't have to specifically be another entity. And then in addition to that, since we have entities, we have a special subclass of that are called agents, and agents are basically entities that have special AI behavior. So the most common agent right now in the game is a monster agent, and it uses basically, like, I think some sort of A-star cost analysis thing to compute paths to a target. So we have a monster factory method that spawns all the monsters, and you specify what the target is. In this case, the target's most commonly the player, so they take that as the AI target, and basically they take a FOV map, which is part of the game, right? So the game has a bunch of tiles. A bunch of those tiles are either walkable or blockable, whatever. From that regular map of tiles, which is just a two-dimensional array of tiles, it generates a FOV map. That FOV map has basically a couple of two-dimensional arrays that just are easier for the pathfinding algorithms to work with, and basically does a cost thing, and it does all that. And then essentially with the path thing, it can generate a dx dy, and then it can move to that next thing. Only main caveat to this pathfinding algorithm right now is that it doesn't account for a couple things. So basically I have to modify this. I have to create a copy of this FOV map and modify it a little bit so it knows that there are a couple tiles that it just can't walk on, right? Because it needs to know what tiles are walkable in order to generate the appropriate path, right? And then, so everything basically falls down to inheriting from an entity, and then it's given its own specific entity type, and then from there we can do specific entity-based behavior. And then the main component of entities is combat behavior. So that's kind of how a lot of it works. And then there's this game class that's just a catch-all that stores like all the general properties of the game, like where are all the game objects, what's the map, stuff like that, where are the UIs, GUIs, all that stuff. So does that kind of summarize it? Yeah, no, yes, maybe? Sorry if I talked fast, but I drank a hot cocoa, and I love cocoa, and I don't know, I geek out on this stuff. So I have it's chill. I have this one of the moderators of my stream. He's actually crazy about architecture, but we usually go into like 2-hour debates about how to architect things, and sometimes the architecture discussion ends with it being like me wondering, or both of us wondering, okay, how do we architect things? You know, obviously he studies more OOP than I do. I kind of architect things the way it makes sense, but I don't know. Obviously the architecture could be redone a couple of times potentially. Right now the architecture is mainly built around this game in particular, but the game is very generic right now. There isn't necessarily anything unique identifiers to it just yet. But okay, getting back on track. Let's see. Okay. So we had chest. Now we display message to the player of what item they received. We did that. So I'm gonna go here. Added ability to open chest. Okay, so if I'm here, go here, and then I'm like, cool, and then I'm gonna go and open this chest. Okay. Here's another chest. I opened that one. Quick question. Those print statements, are those just for debugging? Yeah, so they're basically just for debugging right now. Essentially what I'm going to have is, so if you look here, right? So you see how, so the map is supposed to be like maybe take up this much space, more or less. So the main goal is like, there's going to be like a dashboard here, scrolling dashboard. Tusk Esports ED Boy. I'm building a roguelike game, so that's basically a game with very old school ASCII graphics, and it's like a dungeon dweller. That's kind of what I'm working on, and I'm building with Python. Good question, by the way. Yeah, so the print statements are mostly just for debugging. What I'm gonna basically do is I'm gonna offload this into my own like custom console, and the console is gonna be here. It's gonna have a scroll through. It's gonna have like a message stack, a queue, some sort of data structure to handle that, and then it'll have like some scrolling thing. I know, like, you know, display the past like 20 messages. So it'll basically more or less be a queue. How do you draw pixels onto that screen? I use a library that handles it. So I am not actually drawing pixels, I am actually drawing characters. And so essentially what I say is I want my console to be set, you know, 80 characters by, you know, 60 characters in ASCII text, right? And I'm actually pushing ASCII characters onto the screen, not pixels. The underlying thing that pushes the pixels to the screen, I am not worried about, and I have no idea how it does it. Like, I mean, I could figure it out, but it's basically a lot of like it's basically a lot more low-level logic that I don't have to concern myself with, pretty much. I'm using a Python graphics library specifically for doing ASCII graphics, to put it more simply. That ability to open and close chests. If the chest is already open to begin with, game pickups under mapping items. If it's open chest, open it, but if it's already open, if chest.opened equals false, I guess you can close the chest just for kicks. I don't see why, but it would be good to know. So we open it. I like making monolith one massive single file to me. Oh, that's just fun. That's a great idea. I used to do that one point in time. No, I like keeping my code organized, especially because I want to build code that other people are able to understand and code. And best way of doing that is they get, you know, muscle atrophy in their hands while they're like scrolling through stuff, you know? So to limit the amount of scrolling, I just make it where it's more files. They only have to scroll less, hopefully. So we opened it, and then if we open it again, we receive a trash item. But okay, if we receive it, that means that it still exists. If it still exists, that is not good. So we have to go to our mapping and delete it. We gotta empty it, so basically. If we receive... okay. Empty the chest after being opened. Monolith code is good for learning, I guess, if you want to just keep the code in one file, but eventually, at some point when it comes to larger scale projects, you kind of have to just, I don't know how to best code split it, potentially. Yeah, that's the best way I can do it. Say it. Self.chest item equals none. So they got carpet tunnel from opening a million of files instead of scrolling. Nah, because they can just open the files with their keyboard, I think. No item found in chest. Good. Okay, so main test is, can we get some chests going after we find say a stairwell, right? I mean, if you use computers too much, you're still gonna get carpal tunnel either way, I think. That's why you make computers out of amoeba or something. That way you have amoeba computers that don't use keyboards. Yeah. I literally can't even... The only time I've been able to code, like, maybe a whole entire day... Thanks, man, for the follow. Only time I've actually been able to code for, like, a whole entire day, maybe, was, like during a hackathon. And, dude... Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for the asking, man. I got a Nintendo Switch yesterday. I've been playing that. Been playing Zelda. I was like grinding at work and I'm like, you know what? Like, I am... Thanks for the follow as well, man. I was like, you know what? I've been grinding at work, you know, and I should do something for Christmas. And I'm like, you know what? I'll buy myself a Switch. Because why not? Thanks for the follow, Click Me Fish. Yeah, so I got a Switch, I got Legend of Zelda, and I also got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I've just been like beating my brother sometimes at Ultimate, and that's been fun. And then, I don't know, it's just been good. Okay, let's put that as done. Okay, I'm gonna put a thing in the backlog. Make sure no entities spawn on top of player. And tights entities. Okay. Let's see. So I guess for saving and loading, that's pretty much just taking everything, serializing it to JSON, and then loading it from JSON, more or less. I think there was something in Python to do that, like just serializing. Well, yeah, but like I want to see if this is, well, Pickle's the specific version. Yeah, so normally you just dump it to a file, but the cool thing about Python is they have a thing where you can just dump straight, you know, Python objects, right? So it pickle it and unpickle it, but normally, you know, best way of doing it is, yeah, JSON dumps. JSON dumps is probably the best way to go, because then you can have a game. You can have people mod the game, hack the game, mostly mod the game. But I don't know. I still think this pickle thing might be worth looking into at some point. I think just a bit. I normally just use JSON for saving and loading data, but this thing might be interesting. So I'll put the link to that. I'll put that here. I've been using Python to do BRDF code. I regret Rife. I've been banging my head because the research that I'm going off doesn't go into specifics. What do you mean by BRDF code? BRDF, like graphics? Research what? Why would you do like a low level? Why do you need a low level graphics? Oh hey bro. Okay, now we got our MVP mod here. I had to go over the whole rundown of my whole entire architecture. Oh boy. You'll see, you'll hear it. It makes normal maps and albedos. That sounds pretty low level to me. Okay. I'm gonna use a discounted whiteboard program. This is how you know I'm MVP. Okay. Alright. So, inventory system. Okay. Let's try an alternative method. I got this. Okay. Inventory system. Perfect. Okay. So, say we have an inventory system and we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me just redraw that. I must sleep's KO. Well, you'll be notified when I stream, so yeah, I think I might also be starting a Discord pretty soon. Nice for you to be watching the stream though, man. So good night. Sleep well, man. Okay, let's try this again. Alright. Inventory. Oh, I'm drawing the inventory system. That's what I'm trying to draw up. So I'm trying to like wrap my head around it, basically. Okay. The thing about the inventory, could you make your drawing any smaller? Is this bigger now? It's bigger. You can... I don't think it's possible. Look, it's bigger now. Okay. Alright. So the thing is, when I'm representing this inventory system, I can only really represent it with a couple of things. The way I'm thinking about it is this is a separate screen, right? Yeah, this is a separate screen, and whenever you hover over one of these, so you'll have a tile, right? Okay, you'll have a bunch of things, right? Actually, no. I got a better idea. Way better idea. What's the game gonna be like item-wise? Well, you just have different types of items. You're gonna have some weapon items, some like some potions, some other stuff. Okay, scratch this whole thing. Yeah, okay. So rather than have that whole thing, I think what's better is I just have it where it's basically okay. I have a dialogue here. Come on. Okay. Why can't I draw anything? This is sad. I got this. I got this. I can do this. I know how to draw. No, I don't. Alright, try number 2. Okay. So you have your like item stuff here, right? And then as you go through the items, you know, something like that, you're gonna have a item like info thing, and it'll have like the name of the item, right? And then it'll have like description, and then it'll have like a stats thing, right? And this stats thing, like, you know, depending, like this stats thing is represented differently depending on like the item. So say if it's a potion, it'll be like, yo, this heals, you know, something. So like this dashboard here, so this is a miniature dashboard, right? This miniature dashboard, well, basically you just like go here, you scroll through everything. Each of them has an item name, description, and then like a little bit of like what effects does it do, right? So if it's like a pickup item, you know, if it's like a potion item, then it's gonna have a potion dashboard effects thing here, right? So these are like, so say you have that, right? These two sub dashboards are item specific, basically, right? And this whole thing, that's a separate screen, right? So all of this is on its own console. So you have the root console, like I'll show you a demo of it, but you have the root console, right? The root console is what you're rendering most of the time, but you can have several consoles on top of that. So this is like the inventory console. But for the sake of testing, we don't have to worry about rendering it. So that is on the checklist for sure. I'm obsessed with that game back in the day. I have not. Castle of the Winds. Let's look it up. Oh. It looks pretty legit though. It looks legit, but it's like the graphics look interesting. No, I haven't. I need to play more roguelikes. I've played maybe like NetHack, some other thing. I actually played this one roguelike in the browser. It was pretty nice. It was like, it's like, I have to look it up. In the dark roguelike something. It's like, there was like this one roguelike that was like a clicker. It was basically this, it was like this thing that started as a clicker, and then after a while it turned into a roguelike. So it first started as a clicker game and you're like, oh come on, it's a clicker game, and then it turns into a roguelike, and it's like, it was good. It was a good game. Okay. So inventory system. Just played FTL. Spooky to see it pop. What's FTL? FTL. Oh, faster than light? Oh yeah, spooky. Okay. Alright, so let's say, you know, let's just say the inventory system. I'm gonna go to the item thing here. So name, item type, the stackable, description, self.description equals description, right? So let's say, you know, most of the time you got your name, description, item type, stackable, and then for the sake of simplicity, your base inventory system, right? Now inventory, it's gonna be in the class, right? Normally your inventory is just gonna be like a list of items. No, I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of the game. So inventory, it's going to be a list of items, but the thing that makes the inventory special is there's going to be ways to, like, I don't know, filter it So there will be like some filter methods that are specific to the inventory, whatever, right? And the inventory is player specific, so I don't know how to best put it, but I guess I don't know. I'll figure out a way. I'll just map it out for now. Or well, okay, I can make it even better. I can make it where inventory is something that any controllable player I guess so. Stack limit would probably be better. I'll just do that. You're right. Okay, so I'm basically gonna make it that really... Ow. Okay. The inventory is a component, so for sake of, you know, the player, it's controllable player will have a inventory trigger, tag, whatever, right? Same thing for, say, monster agent, it can also have inventory. Inventory will be separate though from the combat behavior, so whole point is that if you have an agent, intelligent agent, whatever, the inventory is part of it, but it's not specifically for the like combat. So like if it's a basically, how do I put it? If it's like a merchant, then the inventory is going to be in a place where essentially you can interact with it, you can sell, buy, all that fun stuff. That'll be mind-boggling. That'll be, I don't know how I'll handle that. I'll figure it out. Basically just regular inventory. Let's figure that out, right? Maybe have inventory be linked to the entity's items. I don't know. I just want inventory to be its own class so I can have additional filter functions for it though. Like, I'm trying to think, like, okay, you have inventory, then you have like the way to like display it. Sure, we can just have it, you know, I'm overthinking it. We can just have it where every entity has a items list, right? So any entity can have a list of items, because all I really need for inventory really is just a bunch of utility functions. So let's think about it like this. It's just like a bunch of, it's half functional, half OOP. It's crazy, but it'll work. Because I don't want to talk mindlessly about it and not get anything done. So that way we can view the inventory. Right. I would say, yeah, but that can be just a bunch of utility functions. Because at the end of the day, it's just dealing with a list of items. And for inventory utility functions, it's just limiting, it's just filtering throughout all those items. So it's not really, we can just make that, just any entity can have it, right? Even a door can have an inventory, because say we want to make it investigative, or you want to investigate the environment, you could have it like, oh man, I'm gonna observe this. Oh man, it has this and this items attached to it, and then you can add some weird whatever dialogue to that. But sure, why not? So we can do items equals empty list, right? Self.items equals blah, right? And then, all right. And then we can do that for so for some things they don't have items, other times they don't need to worry about items, all fun other stuff. But for now, let's run it like that, see if that messes anything up. Because right now we just have to deal with like, okay, we have items, whatever. Does it break the game? Yes, it does break the game. We are missing the positional argument of description. Cool. That's not hard. You can obviously just tell by how fast I'm talking how much I've just been itching the code today. Whole day. Whole 2 days I haven't coded anything. It's just been, oof. It's just been bad. Bad, so bad it's good. Make item holder interface. Give it, no, that's too complicated. I know it's your suggestion, but like, I don't see why. I do understand why, but that's, oof, too much. Too much for my mind. No, but you're probably, it might make sense, but you can just leave items to be empty and it doesn't matter. It's pretty simple as that. You can be like, this thing does not have items. Right. And you can't do interfaces in Python. Can't do interfaces in Python, sadly. As far as I know, unless you want to do it some really weird way. Okay, line 236. Description can be optional. Okay. Better yet, just have it be none. Okay. I don't know. I might have to refactor the entity system later. But should not be too bad. Oh, I have a better idea. This is how you can do it component-based wise. You can just have entity items equal none, right? Then you can say if items, if recipient dot items, that means that's just it's like basically cheats for making it a boolean but not boolean. Because if it has items, then obviously they'll have, well, for anything that has items, you just set items to be an empty list and you're set, right? That's just a cheat right now. And then potentially have some sort of interface to close that gap, but to do okay, if you have the recipient items, then set the items, push the chest item. Select that chest item. Then we can just take this one right here. And then we can say else prints unable to receive item. Okay. I mean, I'll have like what? I don't know. I'll have like 3 months to like scrutinize myself over the architecture though, I think. Unable to receive item? Oh, I wonder why. Because this is set to none. How do we fix that? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think I do. Or I do. Or maybe not. Entity, items, controllable items, blah 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 blah. We know we can give them the capacity to have items potentially, so we will do items. Items equal none. All of this is fun. Items equals items. Okay, then we can say cool, def init, blah 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 blah. Items for the player. Items will be equal to that. So okay, we don't have any chests for some reason. Oh, here's the chest. Okay, does it break the game? Unable to receive item. Yes. Hi. Oof. What? Are you okay, Andrew? Huh? What? I think I gotta be more specific. If the items...
Zelda.
What? Did you lose?
I finished.
No, you didn't.
You can
List attribute has no thing called push. So instead of push, we can just append. Yo, Ninja, are you still in the chat?
Ninja. Whoa, is that the Fortnite player?
Sorry, what did you say, Andrew?
I'm watching Death Note. Episode 20.
And then, I guess, yeah, sorry, working on a UML diagrams. Oh, for what? For the chess game? I haven't been doing coding stuff in a while, but the stream has gotten me back into it. You do it for the sake of doing it. Okay, cool. Yes, you code for the sake of coding. That's how coding works, maybe? I think. And are you watching?
Yeah.
Are you watching Death Note?
My intellect gets plus 10 IQ every episode.
Oh no. Oh no, I thought you were still playing. I thought you were still doing that. Did you wait? Did you just up and quit that or no? Andrew, did you put the switch in the charger? Yes?
Yes.
No, it means that yes, you are, and you are suffering like.
What did he say?
So, Trevor was working on this chess game, and like this chess game was deadly, and it was like.
Oh, if you lose, you get stabbed?
Yes, except it was with these things called UML diagrams, and the thing about these UML diagrams is that they don't. They're very deadly. Like, if you look at a UML diagram for too long, you actually get a headache. That's how deadly they are.
UML diagram?
Yeah.
Is that Death Note?
No, it isn't. Wait, are you watching the anime? Are you?
Yeah, I was watching Death Note.
Wait, are you watching the stream? How did you know he asked that? Andrew, are you watching my stream?
No, I'm watching Death Note.
Andrew's watching the stream. I'm shook.
Death Note increases my IQ for every episode. I'm on episode 20, so I am now of an IQ of 315. So
Andrew, you were like, you're making me die.
why?
Stop. Stop.
What?
Andrew, you are listening to a dub. Andrew listens to dubs. He doesn't listen to the Japanese.
No. I listen to subs when I'm not tired.
Andrew, you have to listen
I just played
to...
Zelda for 15 hours.
No, you didn't.
I'm not gonna listen to a sub.
Fine. Andrew, you're gonna get my YouTube taken off stream.
Pretty sure Death Note is copyrighted. Oh, sure it is.
Andrew, wear headphones.
Give me it.
No, wear
I
headphones.
don't know where my headphones are.
I'm gonna throw this bottle cap at your face.
Okay.
Wear headphones.
Where are my headphones? Go find me my headphones. I'll code for you a bit. Come on.
Huh?
I'll code for you a bit.
And I bought you the Switch.
I don't know where my headphones are.
You have to just look. Andrew. On this hill you will die. On this hill I will die. Some anime dubs are actually better than the subs, but sometimes they don't understand that it's the Japanese people, and the Japanese people do not speak in American.
Michael, when Joker releases for Smash Ultimate, they're also gonna make a port for Persona 5. So, can we get Persona 5 for Switch if it releases?
Maybe.
Oh, and dubs, not subs. I may not watch anime frequently, but
But go away.
probably. My name is Kira. Woo! Everything in this anime has to be so dramatic. Like, they were playing a game of tennis, and half the game of tennis was talking. And it wasn't even talking out loud.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay. They don't have iterators correctly. Okay, watch my excellent inventory system. This inventory system will be beautiful. If I can find any items.
Just watch me, L.
Watch me take a potato
No,
chip.
that's not the quote. Just watch me, L. I'll solve equations with my right hand and kill with my left. I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Okay, that's copyright. That's an L. Oh boy. Well, I think that is gonna be interesting. Okay, ignore that bug. No, one trash item.
To be continued, more like to be continued right now because I'm on Netflix and I have access to the next episode.
No, that's an L as in the chest was blocking the path. I have a fix for it, but I don't know if I want to fix it. Okay, now they have 3 trash items. The trash items are good for trash. And if I'm not mistaken, the inventory carries over, so now I have 4 trash items.
I was planning on uploading twice this week, but now I'm just like not.
Change the building logic to work with blocking tiles instead of plain walls or something. I don't know, man. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it's just like certain things like the chest or whatever. Because other stuff you're fine. Other stuff you can actually go through. But the chest specifically, it's like, oh boy, your chest, well, you're going to stay in one place. So for the chest specifically, Okay, with the chest specifically, why do I keep doing it? Okay. Make sure blocking entities don't spawn in doorways. So basically, here's how it goes. That's not how it works. I'm gonna mark these. I'm gonna give this a label. Okay, technically, inventory works. What is this? What did you send in the thing? No. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Okay. Alright, now here comes the best part. How am I gonna render inventory? Somehow. I don't know. It's a potato chip. It is a potato chip. So back to the drawing board. I think this will be the... Okay, we're gonna take this. We're gonna codify it. Alright. So, let's assume... Okay. Add... I don't know, add message queue. We'll get to that. We can have two ways of doing it. So we'll have a message queue. Okay. Okay. So, a message queue, right? So, let's assume that... Alright. Misa. Okay. Let's assume here's our whole entire console, right? And that we have, you know, our health stats here, our map here, right? And then we have this empty space, right? So the first thing we gotta do is we gotta figure out how much of empty space we actually have. Because there's a couple things we gotta keep into mind. If we have, say, you know, like 50 cancel characters of space or whatever, we have to figure out how to do text wrapping, right? So we have to say, okay, take the message, right? Make sure that the length of each line, so it's going to be a list, right? Essentially. Make sure you can wrap it around, and then, I don't know, well, maybe there will be a way to, like, you know, press a number like 1 or 2 or something and scroll through the thing. But so here's what we have. We have, you know,
you can show yourself now.
You have your health. You have your like stats here, right? You have your... I think you could keep the item names short enough. Line wrapping might make UI... Well, you tend to have it every once in a while. The UI line wrapping is only necessary, you know, if it's like a monster is like, yo, I'm gonna defeat you, or something crazy. Okay, so we'll just do actual inventory interface. You're gonna have a monster who's gonna say like have this tremendous backstory or something, so that could potentially happen. But for other stuff, I don't think it'll happen that much. And if it's ugly, then I don't know. I don't know why the person's playing the game, because it's old school graphics. But you probably are right about that. Okay. So first off, we gotta see how much of our game is actually workable, right? So let's say, and it all should work. Monster, I thought you were talking about it. No, I mean, it's a message queue for everything. Like, it's also for inventory items, but that's like, it's a lot of stuff. It's multi-purpose, let's put it that way. Like, I'm just gonna design it to be interchangeable. Something like that. But Miss. Okay. Like I don't know, you'll press a button and switches to inventory system or something. But I have to see what our actual workable, the whole point is I have to see what my actual, well, yeah, it'll make more sense when I actually get it displayed. Yeah, like, it'll make sense. It'll make sense at some point in my lifetime. Okay, so we have a width, a height, then we have int root, this thing, which is our root console, then we have a game map. This does not make sense. What we can do is we can say, okay, make it where this is the window height. Make this where, let's say the game is a third ever window, whatever. So we'll do self window width time. Okay, times 3/4. I'll make it 1/2 times 1/2, right? So I see. So let's see what that does. Okay. Yeah. Let's do 3/4. So 3/4. Yeah. So okay, 3/4. 3/4 is times 3 divided by 4. Times 3. So that should basically mean that we have, you know, everything. Now I'm gonna override the, so that's cool. All right, so now I'm gonna override the renderer.
Shinigami eyes.
Okay, so I think this space right here to the right is pretty decent enough to display our stuff, basically, more or less. I think more or less. We can go off of this. So we have that height, that thing. This is a little bit of offset that we can deal with. So we're gonna draw a rectangle here as a border. And we'll call that our, I don't know what to call it. Give me a second. We'll call it, Ender, are you okay? We'll call it our, it's essentially a dashboard. It's actually just a special dashboard, right? So we can just call it a message dashboard, right? The thing about the message dashboard, how do we do it? Dashboard, message dashboard. Lantern. Breadcrumbs. Let me just. Okay. Andrew.
How is everyone doing? That is what it's all about.
Okay, so we'll have a message dashboard, and then we'll have what else? We'll have like a way to filter through it, I guess, somehow. How? Okay, we're gonna do really bad typing again. Dashboard type equals custom. Then this, okay, so we have those two. And then we can write a function for our game for the dashboard. We can say define dashboard by type game type blah blah blah. Okay. Well, that's what we're gonna do, but I'm just using this to basically add filter functionality, pretty much. Wonderful. It is gonna extend from the dashboard, but the thing is that it has its own, gonna have its own specific functions, so that's why we have to say if it is just so happens to be. It's a utility. It's a utilitary. It's a util function. If they're, well, I mean, I'm just helping them out, I suppose. That's the best way I can put it. They might put it in the associative array, but I'm not using associative array. I'm using something special. Okay. All right. let's get down to business. Not easily. Hey, it doesn't matter if there. It's actually that's very subjective. That actually is legitimately subjective, though. This is functional programming. I said functional programming. It's when you know the security is so like specifically drastic that you have to, where it's necessary to nitpick what is only left, and the only thing that is left is the architecture. Yeah, I would say this is specifically structured for success. That's what I would say. Additional parameter of messages to display a message log. Yeah, well, then you just, like, the thing is like, you can just put a hyperlink here or something, like, whatever, you know? Like, okay, if you can't read the file structure, then, I don't know, man. I'll write my own documentation. I don't need anything to generate it. I'll write it by hand. That's how you know.
Hit the chug.
Andrew, are you okay? Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, I was about to say.
We have cake.
What? Did you just... Andrew, no! Don't do it! Andrew's gonna go grab cake. Oh no, this is bad.
Whenever I watch Death Note, I'll eat so much sweets that I have to like
Okay.
eat sweets in order not to get.
Render a border box. Render the last, 10 messages or something. I don't know how this is gonna work, but I will figure it out somehow. Please help my save. Will save my save. Import T-code. I imported T-code. Okay, cool. Hello. I think I might get to 100 followers by the end of this month. That's the plan. Has anybody read any interesting books of late? Because I've been reading and I am begging. I am itching for book suggestions. No technology books, please. Well, I mean, technology books are on the table, but depends. Okay. Can you give me cake?
Discover how you can make a difference in your community and country, serving part-time in the Army
What?
National
Oh my
Guard.
gosh.
Visit
What is this?
nationalguard.com.
This is, oh, by the way, this is the best type of cake. How much cake is downstairs? It's a whole box.
Yes.
So about DMing, I think it's a good idea, but we just have to work out scheduling. I don't know. D&D.
When?
Yeah. We can instant message about that afterwards at some point. Give me another cake. Andrew, give me another cake. Hey Andrew, can you take over the stream for like at 5 minutes?
I'll just get you more cake, okay?
Okay, never mind. Okay.
so many mind games. I don't understand what's happening.
Okay. I'm okay, buddy.
I can say I feel 99% better.
I'm feeling. Should I just like become L? Should I just become L at this point?
He just sits like.
Wait, let me try it. Let me try. Okay, I'm ready. I'm L now. I'm sitting with my legs. Okay.
I'm sitting with my legs.
I'm sitting with my legs. Oh no, Andrew. That was too hard. I got hit.
All Russian?
No, I don't think
He's
so.
doing a Russian squat.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, you missed the best part. I was trying to sit like L and I almost fell down. I don't trust myself to do it again. Okay, so somehow I gotta render this dashboard. What better place to learn how to render things than in my own code base?
You know what would be interesting?
Yeah?
If someone watched Death Note from the episode where Light has no memory, and then came back and watched the episodes before he gave away his memory. Like, if they were watching it for the first time, and they watched it like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is so therapeutic. What do you think, Andrew? Andrew, I said this is so therapeutic.
I swear to God, if Matsuda dies... Matsuda almost died like 3 times.
Who did? Who died?
Matsuda.
Why?
Because he ran into the meeting room and now everyone thinks he's dead.
That's bad. Mm-hmm. So odd. Okay. I get it now. I think you should just build a game of chess. It's here, let's put it this way. It's measure once. No, it's measure twice. Measure once, cut. Measure twice, cut once. Right? Not measure 1,000 times. No, you're measuring 1,000 times, cutting once. But it's measure twice, cut once. I heard it from a very old engineering teacher. Literal, if you take any engineering class, the old engineering teacher will usually sorry for stereotyping. Usually the engineering teacher, it's an idiom that they have. Measure twice, cut once. Now, the degree of at which you measure, that depends on the viewer's discretion, but... No, no, the point of the message is you should be able to, like, you only measure like so many times and then you cut. Because if you never cut and you never build any version of it, then you can never confirm whether or not your system actually works.
I've got a Shinigami eye.
I got the Shikigami games. I got the Shikigami eyes. Shikigami eyes. I got the Shikigami eyes. I got the Shikigami eyes. I mean, that makes sense, right? No, that did not make sense. That did not make sense either. So my point still stands. I'm just twisting the quote around. Yeah, so you measure twice. Oh shoot, that's you. So don't measure twice. My bad. I'm sorry. Don't measure twice, please. What the heck? Yeah, I guess it's poor, I suppose. Just like I could phrase it differently and it would be better. No, that does not make sense.
I love these freeze frames of Michael Watch.
Oh yeah. I can just change the render order. Why do I have to do this? Why am I I just put the dashboard on top priority. See, this is what happens when you know your code too well. That happens. Okay. Very spicy. Very spicy, very spicy. Can I have a transparent one?
According to plan.
I think it's puts a good place where it is. Okay. Oh, hey, hey. I wouldn't, I would put it like, if you overcomp... I'm 17.
This is where I use what
Don't
I
pair program.
This is where I grew up.
I pair program with Trevor every day.
In the U.S. Army Reserve, you learn the skills to
Become best friends with the person you pair program with.
part-time service, full-time success. Go Army Reserve.
No.
Yes?
This is pair program with your best friend.
That's what I said.
No, not become. If you can't become best friends with the person you're pair programming with, then it's not gonna be fun. And not everyone can be best friends.
You know what? Fine, you're right. Is that pair programming for the benefit of like, well, I mean, I said it in a very informal way, but there's alternative ways of going about it. Figure out what do they contextually mean by pair programming. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be synchronous. It could be asynchronous workflow. If that makes... Well, no, it doesn't have to be asynchronous. It could be a synchronous pair programming workflow. Where you'd pair program in a sense that makes it where it's effective and you're not stepping on each other's toes. Because pair programming at certain times is actually of use. It's really just like, okay, you know, like all those fun things. Yeah. Yeah. That's how that's the best way I can put it. Best way. Okay. Let's see. Gotta go into the old code base for this. Okay. Huh, perfect. I don't know what that's for. I know why, but... Yeah, man, I mean, it depends, because, like, if it's remote, it doesn't... How do they particularly enforce pair programming? Because I think really what it boils down to is getting to some sort of, like, mutual agreement between the patrons. Like, okay, we program this way. This is how I program. This is how you program. How do we program together in a meaningful way where we complete a task and we do it effectively and, you know, we achieve it at the end of the day and we don't, like, get into a gruesome, like, fight at the end, right? Because that's, like, the last thing you want. You want your job to be... I mean, with anything, you want to reduce as much stress as you can. Because sometimes stress is actually very illusionary. Sometimes it doesn't actually need to exist.
The show is about to begin according to plan.
Andrew, can you not be a meme?
I ate too much baklava.
What do you mean?
That's not the bottom drawer.
Like, your mind's about to be blown.
Hmm. Okay. So weird. Okay, self.x. 0, 1. Okay, I got now.
No, he got the Shinigami eyes.
Who? Who did?
He's gonna kill Matsuda. No.
Okay, there we got it. We got the console thing right here set up. I don't know. I actually don't know. So here we have the console window set up, right? So now we can just... make the console window black. White, sorry. Okay. For some reason, this has some sort of upper border thing right there. Go to our engine, mapping, dungeon. Min height, min width, map height -1, something weird. So we can do a couple things with that. Main thing is we can just add an upper margin.
I'm on episode 23.
There you go.
There's 20. Oh, there's 37 episodes? Okay.
Okay, so we can just do a margin thing here. Margin, and then height can just be minus margin. There we go. So there we go, and then... I mean, obviously, and you don't see all the whole thing, so it's fine.
There's a businessman, and he has a death note, and then they're trying to figure out stuff. And they're like, okay, let's put Matsuda on TV to pretend like he's gonna reveal his name. And then the business guy just made a deal to get Shinigami eyes.
Oh, I remember this. This is to make them think something. Okay, now we gotta display those messages, right? So what we can do to begin with is we can say, alright, display messages. Oh god, that episode. Oh dude, that's a good one. It is a good one. For I in range 0 to length of self messages, T code dot. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Messages.
Cover your face.
What?
Sorry. His dad isn't covering his face and he's about to try to take down Kira. What are you doing?
No. Do you see this? And look, come up to here for a second.
Why?
You'll see something really cute.
No.
No, it's a really beautiful message.
From what?
Wait, I got this. Come here, look. Look at the message.
On what?
On the computer.
Okay, they did cover his face.
Andrew, don't you see it?
See what?
Come here.
Okay, I'm looking. No, you?
Yeah, do you see it now?
Okay.
You got memed.
Wait! I looked away for 1 second and his dad got shot.
Don't spoil it for me.
What the? Okay, so it was only in the arm. It was only in the arm. It's fine. Oh my god, water. My hair itch. It's midnight? Michael, is it midnight?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was midnight. I need to take a shower.
Okay, so here's my message log. And then what we can do is I think we can say Um, I don't know. We can say if the we can display like the last like 10 messages, or well, we can basically say message count equals when self messages possible messages equals self height minus h margin 2 times h margin, right? So we can say and then man, I think I got lost track of time. No, I can't. No, don't. No, you. Okay, cool. Okay. Def push message to log game message. If this is yeah. I was thinking too about my life. Cool, I can't, don't, no you. Okay. So So then I can say, like, you know, for the chest. So let's say I'm in the chest.
Oh my god, he's getting his memories back.
Did he turn evil? Did he turn evil again?
He's evil again.
Did he make an evil smile?
Yes.
Oh no, I knew.
Oh, he literally just said exactly as planned.
Oh no. Oh no. Dude, it works! Andrew, look, check this out, check this out. Come here, come here, come here. Andrew, check it. Oh wait, it works in reverse. I gotta fix that. Um.
Exactly as planned.
I don't know if I can read that. Bodyguards. What? Reverse iterator. Okay. Oh, I was like trying to figure out if that was my philosophical joke of the day. I think about life 3 times a day. Like how to be a more like peaceful person, I guess. Okay, we did it. The console works. It's crazy, but so now we can do this one. Yeah. Main caveat though, this is probably gonna crash like a good 10 times. I'm gonna find 20 different bugs from it, but it works. It works for some things, but not everything yet. It works for only the chest right now. So eventually it's gonna be everything, and I'm gonna have like colored messages and all that fun jazz. But that's some other time. That's neither here nor there. And then I think what I can do is I can just do message cutting maybe or something, or I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go. I'm gonna add a caveat to this. Map. Check for message log bugs. Check. Put a message log across all debug. Andrew, you want to take a look?
No.
Andrew, I'm sorry, what did you say? Can you say that one more time? Okay. I think that was it for this stream. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is also called Mecha Sparrow. I'm gonna go and play some Legend of Zelda now.